And welcome to another video of Epic Heroes. This one is going to be the long-awaited video related to the reincarnation space. Now, before we get started, let's align on what we will look at related to the reincarnation treasure, reincarnation space, blah blah blah. First, this video is going to be divided into different sections related to what is the reincarnation space, what is the reincarnation treasure, understanding it, another section for battles, and you can see the entire list on the screen now. Now, each section for actually just viewing it, there will be timestamps in the description to help you navigate. It's going to be a very long video. My recommendation is to watch the entire video. It will help you to understand many different details related to the reincarnation treasure. Now we can move into the ranting direction before we start. I really don't want to make this video because it has and will have a little bit of information that will upset some players related to when they actually understand more of what the leadership and the leaders in the leadership board actually need to climb up that ranking. So it's like, here's the messenger, let him be shot, because now he's gonna be given the information of how to actually go about the reincarnation space and where does a large portion of us as players lack. So before we move on into let's shoot the messenger, let's start by actually the first section. Alright, section 1. Let's understand the reincarnation space. The reincarnation space you have once in a week. It's open once in a week and then the settling starts, and after the settling you get your method. Okay. The players will be matched based on, well, their heroes, their level, blah blah blah. You can read all these lovely details, including more of understanding the reincarnation space. The important things we need to understand: only S and S plus heroes can participate. Okay, you can challenge it 10 times for free in each cycle of each week, and then you'll have to consume blue diamonds to actually purchase more additional challenges. You're ranking up by the damage and you're fighting against other players to rank up in the leaderboard. Now, after the duration of the reincarnation space, the settling takes 24 hours related to the damage, and then you can move on to getting your methrol and getting the reincarnation treasure. So the reincarnation space is linked directly to the reincarnation treasure, and you'll understand more. Now let's move into the next point of the ranking and what you actually get by ranking up. If you click on rewards, you'll be able to see that there is a specific ranking put into place. The top 1 of legend, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 21, 35, 40, 55, until you reach the dreadful ranking of the diamond 1, diamond 2, 3, 4, 5, gold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, most players are stuck in this beautiful area, coming close to the top 100 of legend. The main point of ranking, aside from the methrol you're seeing, which will speed you up in actually gaining reincarnation treasure and upgrading your reincarnation treasure by using the reincarnation meteor iron. The higher you rank, the more better quantity of resources you get. The lower you rank, the less you're actually getting, which means it will take you longer. So the rewards help us to actually rank up and gain better the ranking up helps us in getting better rewards. Aside from that, if you go to the Reincarnation Palace, once you've ranked up and entered into the top 100, the Reincarnation Palace offers you a frame. Now this frame is much better and actually more useful than the rest of the other frames you get into the game. Right, let's have a look at those frames. So the Reincarnation Palace offers you a very specific frame of attack plus 8% and HP plus 8%. Now if we're looking at the totality of frames actually in the game, It's not the highest, but it's not the lowest and not the worst. Usually you'll get the +5 and +5, +5, +5, right? At some point, at least in the game. The best, of course, is the +8, +8, and the +10, +10 for the power they give to all your heroes. The +10, +10, by the way, isn't related to the reincarnation space. This one that looks bluish, you can get it from just ranking up and entering into the top 100, which can massively help your heroes during your playing in the game. So there's the first frame, and then there's the second top 50, and then the top 10 and the top 1, and then it carries on in more frames. So there is more frames that can actually give your heroes much more power, more than anything you can imagine, higher than HP +10 and attack +10. So what you're interested here when you're looking at information, the frame and the mithril and the iron to actually upgrade your heroes in the reincarnation treasure by using, of course, the reincarnation treasure. Next point is there is a boss. That boss is a jerk like usual, and there is upcoming bosses you can see, and it follows a cycle of 6 battles, and you can see the heroes that are going to be used in that battle, and it offers them a sort of buff depending on the round, increase healing and then increase damage, and then you go into the next one, you'll see it becomes worse, increase in damage again, increase in healing, burst mode, attack mode, get in angry mode, whatever you want to call it. The main point is they are very strong. Even the top players get eliminated most of the rounds, 5 out of 6. In the 4th or 3rd round, they don't carry on as long as you might think, and it lasts for the 15 rounds, even with the top players. Also, they're not doing the damage you're thinking that's so high and so destructive. Even the top number 1, if you're looking at him, 1, 2, and then the damage goes down, and then it goes down, 164, 202, and the last one, the lineup is hidden, we cannot see. But if you actually use the quick setup, it will add the same heroes he's using in the lineup of number 6, but you cannot see the damage. That's the only downside. So even the top one, he's not doing that much damage, except mainly in 1 or 2 rounds, where you can see the high burst, high abuse damage. Now we're not looking at the number 1, of course. There is much more in players that you can see below. Let's stick with the below. Right, let's see. So high damage, a little bit high, and then goes low, low, low. If you carry on in looking at the totality of damage, you'll notice, no, not all players cause high damage in the 6 rounds. They don't survive in the first place the 15 rounds. They get killed just like you, but there is a difference of how they select their heroes, the equipment they give their heroes, the upgrading and awakening of their heroes, the evil artifacts they use in battle in comparison to your weak, pathetic heroes. So we got some of information out of the way. Let's go to the treasure. If you go to the reincarnation treasure, you'll be able to see all the treasure you've accumulated, well, in summoning or forging here in the forge, the treasure forge. Now the treasure forge in its normal status can take 3 methrals at the same time. Total 3. The rest you'll have to unlock by paying money. What does it do? How does it help? It helps you in being able to add 6 mithril to be forged at the same time, and it reduces the time they take to be forged. You can click on the plus, purchase it, and it will give you Sanctuary Mithril and a random Mithril Chest Galaxy or Chronos for 6 days. It's okay. Overall, the main thing you can see, there is normal forging, special forging. You also get points for your forging. These points are exactly when they're accumulated to 1000 based on the mithril you've used, right? It will give you the blessing treasure. The blessing treasure is very important because it's only once in 30 days, and after those 30 days you get the blessing treasure. The accumulation has a limit. You can accumulate up to 5,000 points, which means if you've used too much mithril, like in my case, and you're way away from the refresh date, you can just accumulate it and just live peacefully knowing you'll get the blessing treasure in the next cycle. Now, blessing treasure is pretty much the highest and the most strongest in the game, which is the creation treasure, and getting it will actually make a difference for your heroes and in the battle. Overall, the reincarnation treasure, all of it, helps in giving you an HP as a percentage increase and a fixed number that can be increased. Attack, same scenario, increasing your critical for all your heroes. All these statuses, the bonus statuses increase, affect all your heroes. You also have the broken armor, critical resistance, the faction bonus, the force, the additional fixed HP and fixed attack. Now, force resistance and the force itself, it comes up as a question. What is the force? What is the force resistance? Take the force resistance as something that adds an additional percentage or attack damage to your heroes when they attack all the heroes in all the battles. That is the force. That's a disturbing way of saying it or explaining it, but that's kind of the reality. The force will increase your hero's output of damage, and the force resistance is when you're going up against, aside from the enemy, you're going up against the player, he will have the force resistance. The force resistance is to reduce your resistance, your force, sorry, to reduce your force, which is an increase in the attack or the damage output at the end, the damage output. So the force resistance is a counter to the force, and the force and the force resistance are together in what they can do and give you as a player. One will increase your damage to the enemy in battles, and the force resistance is when you're attacked and the other player has force also just like you, it will decrease it. The higher the force resistance, the more you can decrease, lower down the damage that another player who's actually having reincarnation treasure can do to your heroes. So building them up is important, and they go from level 1 until level 60, and they actually can be upgraded by a star level direction, maximum 5 stars, and you need shards to actually awaken or upgrade them. You have enhance and you have advance. Advance is actually increasing the level, the treasure enhancement, and the treasure advancement is pretty much you'll need shards to the treasure itself to increase its star level. Now, the treasure itself does give you force when you've actually advanced it, advancing pretty much. It can give you also base attributes that can differ. One can give you HP percentage, one can give you attack, and one can give you an increase in the AFK hero experience, and so on. Now, if you go to the creation, you'll actually find reduction of damage, you'll find gaining extra damage, you'll find increasing the critical, you'll find also increasing the sunder for all your heroes, which will make them be able to do more damage. So we're looking at HP, critical, broken armor, an attack increase by upgrading your reincarnation treasure, and fixed attributes for the HP and attack, and an increase in defection bonus, and overall your heroes can become much stronger by upgrading and fulfilling full set of treasure. Hopefully, if you focus on gathering more of the creation treasure and upgrading it, you will be much happier because your heroes will be much stronger. Now, the last point we will touch on, the reincarnation treasure also helps you in player versus player when it comes to the arena, because it has all units gain effective resistance, all units gain X, all units gain Y, related to player versus player and related to player versus the enemy. So this one will only apply in player versus player, which is pretty much the arena battles. Gaining critical damage resistance, all of that will also help you to rank up higher in the arena and in the reincarnation treasure battles itself, championship. So we can see that there is a high validity in working on your treasure. Now, how do you actually start or actually go about this? Start by hoarding a little bit of your mithril. Okay, the drop rate is directly affected by how many times you've added the same mithril again and again and again. So for instance, I have the sanctuary mithril. If I add 3 now, okay, 1 will remain. Now, adding 3 and then having the availability of adding another 3 or another 3 times, it will ensure that the Sanctuary Methrol will give me Special Forge, which will give me something better than the usual of what we can see. So it's always best to have more than 5 or 6 at a time of the Methrol, and then forging one specific type, all of it, one after the other of that specific type, not mixing the Chronos with the Sanctuary at the same time. So what we do is add the Sanctuary, and then the next forge add the Sanctuary, and then add the Sanctuary. When they're finished, you will also add again the Sanctuary, and do it for 2-3 times. Then you will get better results of what treasure will show. As you can see, we have all the treasure of the Sanctuary. We're working on fulfilling the remaining stars for the ones at the bottom. And we're working on actually fulfilling that the Chronos, all of it is taken to level 60. The Galaxy has been done, the Chronos still in progress, and the Sanctuary is getting there, and then we can focus fully on upgrading the creation treasure. Now, another key point of how you can start collecting and hoarding, let's call it hoarding. It sounds bad, but it is what it is. If you go to the treasure shop, when you get shards that are useless and you do not need them, you can exchange for things here, especially the shards, especially the Methrol itself. And the thing we're focused on is the Chaos Methrol and the Creation Methrol. So you have the treasure shop and you have the Chronos shop, which is linked to the Transcendence Championship. What you need to do is gather the prediction metal points, keep exchanging for the creation methrol, wait and be patient for a long time. You need at least 5 creation methrol if you're really gonna go after I want to make a difference. And the percentage of gaining a sanctuary treasure is at 75.5. Okay, and you might get lucky and you get something random for the special fortune. Same scenario for the rest of the treasure. You do not need to exchange it from here, just rely on the reincarnation space itself and just focus on the creation methrol. For the treasure shop, exchange for the shards if you can to help you build it faster. You will need to do that if you can. And also the reincarnation meteor iron is going to be the main thing you need to exchange for to upgrade your treasure. Now that we've looked at the statuses, the information for the reincarnation treasure, one thing will be added as information, I will show it on the screen, is how to unlock the reincarnation treasure, because that question comes up so many times of new players where it starts off as being locked. Aside from showing it on the screen, probably you don't really have to, but I'm going to show you something in a different sub-account, one of my sub-accounts related to that. Okay, so one of the conditions of unlocking the reincarnation treasure, let's just go with the illustration in the game, easier than just writing it, is finishing X War 25. That's not the only condition. The second condition is having 6 heroes awakened at Transcend. You need to have both conditions, clear 25 and own 6 Transcend heroes. Transcend heroes is an awakening of the heroes in the game. If we go back to my main account, and that awakening follows a cycle of you awakening the hero. Let's go to a hero that's at Transcend. Mystic, Mythic. Okay, do we have anyone at Transcend? Okay. So the cycle is very simple. You start off at Excellent and then Excellent Plus, Epic and then Epic Plus, Legendary and then Legendary Plus. This is a hero who's Legendary Plus. This is Legendary Plus. This is Epic Plus. You can see it on the screen on the top. And then you enter finally to Mythic and Mythic Plus. Mythic and Mythic Plus, yeah, the one that looks like a diamond, is coming close to the Transcend. Transcend comes after Mythic Plus directly, and it starts with Transcend. That's the one you want for the reincarnation space and reincarnation treasure. So Transcend, and then after that in the cycle of awakening is Transcend Plus, and then Plus Plus, and after that you finally reach the final awakening in the game for a hero, Immortal Status Awakening. Okay, perfect. Now we've done that part. Now let's move into the actual reincarnation treasure space, the part I really dread. Okay, so we're back again in looking at the reincarnation space, and now we're looking at damage. Now, alright. First thing, let's look at where I'm at and assess where our biggest issues in the game is. As I'm gonna show beyond the 100, and it's in real time supposedly. This is me happily staying there, just sitting there peacefully at 169. And this is actually the rewards I get for my ranking. Now if we move into the lowest of the lowest, showing at least, we're looking at the 100 ranking. You look at the 100 ranking, you'll see that he has normal power, 101. Maybe that is a little bit getting higher, but still 101 million. The level of his heroes 453. You look at his reincarnation, it sucks beyond anything in comparison to what I'm doing or have been doing. So we can see that overall he's weaker than me in so many different ways. Okay. Now let's look at his hero selection. In the reincarnation space, hero selection plays a very important role, and the focus is actually on a handful of heroes, and they keep repeating the same heroes again and again, and that's it pretty much. Same heroes, same artifacts, correct ones, and that's it. There's nothing special they actually do, but it requires a large set of things to be put into place correctly. The heroes are Julia, Indira. Those are the two heroes that are the main focus of causing damage. And then after that, 100% you're going to be needing Lucas. And then this specific selection is going to be highly needed in the game, related to Toku and working around Toku for that damage. And then the normal heroes you would be using mixed, and even see this, he's just barely awakened, Rex. Rest, regardless of the lineup, is going to be a mixed. Okay, let's play the video. And this isn't the video really I'm interested in, but just so you can see some type of example of how the battle goes and how long does he actually survive in the battle. He barely made it to round number 5. Okay, you might not be even able to make it to round number 4 actually, in your case. Now, let's look at this specific battle, and I hope you can notice something specific about Tuku in terms of damage, because most players rely on specific battles with their DPS and giving them an evil artifact so they can cause high burst of damage in a short duration. So Tuku is doing 78 million, 80 million numbers you actually will not be able to do so easily in battle. One of the artifacts that makes a difference in this entire scenario is the Hunter's Scythe. Here we learn from this, the first thing is the need for the Hunter's Scythe. And yes, you're gonna be needing the Hunter's Scythe whether you like it or not. It increases the damage output, it increases the critical and the critical damage, the chance of triggering more critical damage, increases her attack. The more the Hunter's Scythe is upgraded close to level 30 or level 30, the more Tuku will cause a large amount of damage. So one factor is needing that evil artifact. Another factor, almost all the ones that use their brains in the game have already taken Tuku to level 40 exclusive. Once she's level 40, she will benefit you not only in that space of battles, but also in time travel and all the different factors here that you're going to be needing Tuku. Because the damage output at exclusive levels, level 40, increases the attack damage by 6%. Now imagine that each chase or pursuit or follow-up pursuit she does in one round is increased by 6%. Now imagine you gave her Fatal, because someone actually did it with Fatal Judgment. Okay, Fatal Judgment, and level 30 Fatal Judgment specifically, and the exclusive is upgraded to level 40. He still was able to cause much more damage than the normal Eden space or the normal selection of artifacts that she can be given, but the Hunter's Scythe still tops both of them Another selection for her specifically for that specific direction is the Meteor Dust. Basic attack increases critical rate by 18, blah blah blah. And with this direction, you need to take it to level 25 so it actually makes a difference. It increases the critical rate and it increases the critical damage by 20%. So there's a reason why there are players that are using the Meteor Dust in that specific battle in the Reincarnation, because then she can do extra damage faster in battle. So that's one of the main factors of what different players have done. Second thing, they weren't so lazy and they actually focused on upgrading the gems and taking it as high as they can above level 120. So that's another factor they're doing. Second thing, they didn't mess up selecting the skill, and not only do they have the first skill unlocked, they have the second skill for the majority of their DPS in battle. So it's not only about the need for evil artifacts, it's about how much they invested in building their heroes. In comparison, you can see I'm still missing 2 relics. Now, Indira isn't going to be viable or useful for that mode of battles until she has all her relics taken to T1. Other than this, she's just a little weakling who can get killed easily, and her exclusive isn't even taken to level 30, and level 31 can be sufficient if you actually do that and get it to that. Now, the 120, you will require to take all your heroes up until 120. The heroes that you're going to be using for the Reincarnation space all need to be taken gem-wise to level 120, and all preferably should be awakened. So that's another factor we see that's very important and highlighted in the Reincarnation space and the leadership board. It does help you that you can select one of the players and go with taking their lineups pretty much. So this is the lineup that our lovely friend has been using, and some of the heroes are missing because they're not awakened to transcend or for some other reason. Don't care at this point, but the main point is, yes, you can steer their lineups, and yes, lineup number 6 that you cannot see, it should add something related to it. So we can see that we've taken some of the heroes for that. Now you can just ignore that and go with a different player if you don't like the lineup. It kind of depends on what heroes you have available and actually can use, just like the player who you actually are looking at. Alright, for now let's actually select a player and go with their selection of lineups, and then after that you're gonna be moving into the second mess, that all your artifacts are going to be shuffled and given to heroes, and some of what you have will be also removed. So we see here one of our artifacts was given to Indira, the rest no. There it is on Toku, and then same. So the issue with this is, number one, most of the heroes lose the artifacts you've already equipped them with, okay? And after that, you're gonna have to readjust and add the artifacts back to them correctly. So in round number 1, absolutely nothing was given to the entire team. Round up 3, yeah, so it's time to fix it. First, let's start by our first hero in the first one. Let's give him Blessings Prophet, okay? And then let's look at the remaining heroes we have in other rounds, see what they actually need. And let's focus on round number 3 before we carry on. Let's give Thinker Radiance Tribute. Let's give Lady Ivy Light of Faith. Let's give Einstein absolutely nothing. And then let's give the Queen of Desert Eternal Oath. Okay, let's go into the 5th one for now and come back later. For this one, we're gonna be given hero level 100 unlock. We're gonna have to be removing him Houston, and then adding the other one that's actually ranked up, and then going back again and replacing artifacts and hero level 100 unlock. Let me fix that and come after a second. Alright, we're back after actually selecting some artifacts for different heroes, and we're just gonna do a test. But yes, each time you copy a player's lineups, you're screwed in having to do this in selection of all the artifacts, all the divine and all your evil from the beginning, which is pretty much an annoyance. Round number 5, I'm not sure why it's showing hero level 100 unlock. The hero herself is actually at level 340, so we're just gonna ignore this for the sake of ignoring it for now, and then focus on actually adding another hero that got removed. What is important is not really focusing on the lineup for this test run, but focusing on the copying and fixing of the artifacts. Okay, so our direction pretty much is to try to survive and cause as much damage as we can in a short duration. We copied the lineups for convenience and also because it actually works. You don't really need to do the formulation lineup from zero scratching. Hopefully, we're hoping to at least achieve 200 plus, which we did in round number 1. Okay, in round number 2, we're trying to use Medusa to actually stun them and Behemoth to chain them a little bit, Anna to actually suck their HP dry if we can, and hopefully we can cause some good damage before the round ends. Not so much good, but okay. Our heroes need to become stronger to be able to endure a little bit more. Now the round with Toku, and we're interested to see how much damage can she actually cause. We're hoping that the damage at least can be good enough above 300. Let's see. Okay, we're still okay. We caused the 300, 400. Nice. As you can see, the damage output for this specific round was very good. It exceeded 800 of damage. Now we're moving into the next round, and we can see that actually copying other players for their lineup selection can actually be beneficial if you're like me and really do not want to keep trying to formulate lineups for this specific mode, which is repetitive. For this round, we're focusing on Rockefeller to stun as much of the enemy as possible to give us a chance to take them out by causing more damage. Of course, we'll be taken out at the end of the round. We still achieved 200 plus, which is still good in consideration of how much damage you need to rank up. Now, if you have the Hunter Scythe on Tuku or in another round on Julia, the reality is you're going to be doing much more damage to the degree you will be able to rank up easily, which unfortunately you will have to pay money to get, and that's a sad reality I really don't want to talk about when it comes to the game, because there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how much you try to fix your heroes or improve them, there's still going to be a limitation of how far you can go. So what are we focusing on in all of this? We're focusing on lineups. Usually when they're created, they actually go with a simple direction. She doesn't cause any damage. We'll have to change her after this and go again. Lineups, they focus on the faction bonus and the draft bonus, which other players have already done the work for us, so we just copy it and not do the work ourselves. So that's one thing. Second thing is the artifacts, the gems, and the divine, and of course your dark artifact selection actually make a huge difference, specifically in this mode. Now, the last round where you're actually going up against the boss, it can make a huge difference if you have Lucas and you put him in number 1, because you will be able to survive for the full 15 rounds and cause more damage than what you could actually have caused in the previous rounds. As you can see, he's still carrying on. The thing we really did as a mistake is add Forest Dancer Julia for this one, because any other hero who could survive will be able to really add more damage, more than the God Slayer's damage, which exceeded above 1000 or 1 billion, We're benefiting from this round specifically and the round that has Toku, and that actually will increase our damage to 3593. And we kind of didn't really get an upgrade in the ranking, but that is fine. There are heroes that actually cause 0 damage to Chuck when it comes to this specific mode, and we need heroes that actually can cause damage to Chuck, which comes into the issue of hero selection since we've used a good portion of our heroes. Okay, at this stage we'll be looking at what heroes are we using. We're using 2 from the Dark Faction, 1 Superman, 1 Universe, and 1 from the Technology. So it's advisable to use another hero that comes from the Dark Faction just for the sake of getting the draft bonus. Now let's skip and see if the damage actually could be increased, and it got increased to 3829. So that's a good start. Now if we look at the combat record for our new achievement record, in round number 1 we caused 284, 102, 1357 in round 3, which is the type of damage you're looking at and desiring actually. 394 and then 145, and in the final one 1534. Okay, not bad, but we're lacking in round number 2 and we're lacking in round number 4. So what do we do in this specific case? We'll actually have to go back again, round number 2 and round number 4, and look at our heroes in selection. Where is the main issue? The main issue, they're not upgraded. They will not really be able to cause that much damage without all the relics and gems being upgraded. So there's that as an issue. Another one, we might actually take out one of the heroes, replace him, Satan, and add Julia in his place, and give Julia the divine judgment that he was holding. Okay, and that should help in causing a little bit more damage in that round. Now the best thing that can be done actually is upgrading all the heroes here in terms of exclusive, in terms of awakening, and in terms of gems and relics. Now doing that will actually cause them to be much stronger in this battle. Now moving on to the next thing, of course, is going to be the spaceship list selection pretty much. The spaceship itself standalone can be upgraded, which can really make a difference for you in battle. And the spaceships, we will go and have a look at it. But for now, let's make a slight change of taking the assassination spaceship and moving it to the last round. Sometimes just a change of the spaceship can actually make a difference in the damage, the final damage in that round. Okay, let's skip and see. Still, we're at our max ability of 3830. In round number 1, 411. Round number 2, 339. Round number 3, 558. Round number 4, 479, 126, 1915 in the last round, where the damage has been increased in the last round, which is good. And we need to reattempt the round number 3. So what we do is actually we need to spam it a couple of times, and the damage should increase if Toku actually does her job. Okay, exactly what we're looking at, and now we're at 4704. Most rounds we're doing acceptable damage. Round number 5 falls below the damage that we actually need, and the first 2 rounds we really need to upgrade our heroes, make them stronger, and work on them. So now in the current damage we're looking at, it moves us to 120, ranking 120, which is very good damage if you're still trying to rank up. The issue, of course, is the lowest is the 100, and he's at 5451. The thing, aside from everything we just did to try and copy part of what he's doing, we're missing an evil artifact that can make a difference in one of these rounds. And by getting that evil artifact, we actually can do much more damage than we're currently doing. So, as you can see, the right hero lineup selection, giving them the right artifacts, and then a necessity to upgrade them is pretty much all that what you will need to upgrade their damage. And also a change of the spaceship itself will be needed to help you out. In the end, you will need an evil artifact. Whether you like it or not, that high damage that players are doing, it requires heroes built to the max as one thing, and then it requires you to actually keep attempting and work on upgrading your heroes. There isn't something specific that I can add to you in the mode itself until you actually wise up and get an evil artifact if you're interested in ranking up, because you cannot do the high burst damage that surpasses all those players that you're seeing without getting an evil artifact. You will be limited forever, actually. The one thing I keep saying, upgrade your Toku to level 40, because as you can see, even without an evil artifact, you still can do some decent damage, and we got to the top 100 finally. And yeah, that's the majority of what can be given as advice related to the space. Main thing is you need to look at what the players are using in each cycle related to the boss. You need to actually know how to fix the artifacts themselves, pretty much. And switching some heroes out and putting another hero can benefit once you're looking at the battles from this perspective of damage and this perspective of which hero isn't causing sufficient damage. So here, okay, this is a good round of damage. This is not a good round of damage at all, so we need to actually try to fix the heroes here in this round. Same scenario for this one, can be worked on a little bit. This one is doing okay. There's no need to do any changes to it. One change that can be done for that last round that can make a difference actually is just taking the assassin battleship and putting the group attack ship in its place. The group attack ship will benefit in the last round. Not sure how it will do in round number 3. But it is a sort of testing and attempting. All that you need is to give your heroes the correct artifact and upgrade that artifact, whether it's divine or gem, and we can see that there's a decrease in performance 720 and 1690. We'll need to try again and see if there's a possibility of actually that number being improved. Okay, let's see. And 443, and then let's do another attempt. Really not doing its perfection job of getting us what we're looking for. All right, let's change again from the group attack spaceship and give Toku team the group, and then consider the temporal blade. Should we give it to a different round? Probably yes. Let's take the front row spaceship and give it to the last round and give them the assassin spaceship. Now let's go again and watch. By the way, you can always use Q-Pen in one of the rounds, which I advise it because he will increase the damage output. Alright, let's go again into battle and let's skip again. 3905, which sucks. We really need to put back the spaceships as they were. It's still something that can work, something that can fail, so it's okay. Okay, let's put back the assassin and let's give back the front row spaceship and let's give it another try. Yep, still sucks because we highly depend on Toku, which can be a hit or miss. Okay, let's attempt again. 5586. Close, coming. So round 3 2691 and round 6 1523. The rest of the rounds got screwed up, one of them actually, and then we attempt again. 4 and 9. Okay, that's because of the round of Toku. She couldn't really perform in that specific one. When you're looking at something like this, one thing you can do is switch the location of your hero and then try again. She's depending on Lady Ivy and Einstein in that round, actually. Okay, let's skip. And 3, 5, 30, which sucks. And again, we try, and then we go again. One thing we can try is replacing the artifact of Genesis and giving it to Time and taking his evil artifact. Okay, let's go into battle and skip again. Not so good. 810, and that really didn't touch up on what we need. Okay, let's replace again. Alright, for the God Slayer, we might replace also his artifact Eden Space, and we can go with, let's see what's available. We can go with the Fatal Judgment. That's one thing. We can go with Genesis. That's another thing. So he can use his exclusive, probably more. We can Eternal Oath, no. Okay, let's see what else. Eternal Soul, yeah, can be done. Okay, let's actually exchange for his the Eternal Soul with Eden Space. Let's skip and actually go directly into the damage calculation. Okay, so for the round that has Storm Falcon 474, which is not at all the damage we're looking for. Okay, let's give him back the Eden Space. And let's do something completely different to help with what we're going up against. We are going to go into Toku and go into the gym, and then we're gonna go into the skill selection. Then we're going to change to charge penetration. And then for the God Slayer, we're gonna do the same of going into his gyms and then changing to Bloody Battle. Okay. And then for Storm Falcon, we're gonna go into gems and change to charged critical. Alright, now we're gonna go back into battle and we're gonna see the effects of the changes we've done by, well, pretty much switching the skills. And then we're gonna skip and see if it actually makes any difference. Didn't really make a difference, which is sad. 806, 1700. So for the last round it did make some difference. For the rest of the rounds it didn't. Let's skip, and at this stage we will have to attempt it a couple of times to see how far the damage can go. It's really reliant on not getting stunned and killed fast. Okay, now again, let's try again. If it doesn't work, you can always switch back these skills. 5399. Let's try again. Mm, 485. Okay, let's switch back the skills when it comes to Tuku. And let's give her... yeah. Let's select the Wither Wind. And then for Storm Falcon, let's go back and select the Blood Rage, increasing critical damage, and that should help. The main thing why I say we are not prepared, at least I am, because if you have the skill of number 2 and specifically number 3, you can really cause some huge damage by your heroes. So the main thing actually when it comes to the reincarnation space, that entire cycle, you just need one specific evil artifact more than anything. The rest you can gain by building your heroes to exclusive level 40 depending on the hero, and the heroes again that you're going to be needing is Tuku to work around pretty much. Storm Falcon, Queen of Deserts, Julia, Kinley, Time Awakened and his exclusive upgraded to level 30. If you can, that would do great. And the rest of your heroes, you need to upgrade their exclusive way beyond just level 25. If you can do that, Indira, of course, and Lucas. At least get him to level 30. He'll be able to do some really good magic. So what we're trying to convince you of in this video, upgrade your heroes, give them the relics, upgrade the relics, give them the gems, upgrade the gems beyond level 120, gain the increase in the attack. By gaining that increase in the attack, you'll be able to do the same damage you're seeing in this video, and that will actually help you at least to come close or enter current ranking of the top 100, which we kinda did. Top 100. Will we hold the ranking too long? Unknown. So currently I'm actually at 97. See that? That's nice. That's beautiful. I'm not sure if you actually are interested in playing around when it comes to using redemption specifically for resurrecting your heroes when they fall in that battle so the battle carries on longer, but that's another pathway you need to try and utilize if you're not doing sufficient damage, using Redemption Sigil on heroes that can use them so they become again able to continue after being killed and the battle lasts longer. So that's one important thing you can look into. And the second thing is actually using different Sigil than the ones that are usually used. Using Thorn, Inflame, Succubus, Mirage, Berserk, Sage, specifically Sage, and I think we should do one attempt for this video using Sage in the last round. Currently I'm giving Lucas Phantom. We're gonna be doing a sacrifice of taking off Phantom because I keep taking off Sigils and putting them back, and we're going to search for our lovely Sage. Okay. And we're back. We are currently at Sage level 2. At the start of the battle, grant Sage's Eye to an ally on the same column, including the heroes, excluding the hero themselves, pretty much not Lucas. If anyone launches X, Y, and Z of all the attacks in the game, and after launching any hero launches any attack in the same column, you can actually deal 40% attack attack of the attack that the ally did. In simple terms, you attack, your heroes attack, okay, 40% of that damage at level 2 will be shot back at our lovely Chuck. Okay, so let's put our hero Folklore, Godslayer in the positioning next to Lucas, and let's see how that will play out. Okay, so the damage automatically is 4940, and as you can see in round number 4, this is actually a very good increase in damage just by removing and adding a Sigil that can support or a Stigmata that can support in the battle. Let's slow down that battle so we can actually watch it a little bit easier. And as you can see, that's the attack that comes from the Sage, and it has absolutely no effect on him, and we don't really care. It's just about showing the concept. You can do it in other battles in the game itself, but the Godslayer is getting an increase and a boost in his attack, as you can see. Now that's some real damage. That's the real damage we're actually looking at to be done in our rounds. How did it come? Despite Chuck is not taking any damage actually from the Sage itself, it came from the boost that it's given to the God Slayer with the selection of the ship, with time being available and all that good stuff. We're also depending on, it's a little bit difficult to take out Lucas, as you could see. He survives, and as if you're looking at that damage, look at that damage, where it's going. Unfortunately, Lucas was taken out, which is sad, but it's okay. If we attempt it again, it will probably be better and Lucas will survive. So that damage is something we actually need when it comes to the battles itself. If you're gonna do it to the rest of your heroes, you will have to focus on what exactly you want to give. And I'm suggesting you try and focus a little bit on Inflame and on Berserk. By just Berserk and Inflame being in the battle, see that? Gain 20% damage increase. Yeah, that's beautiful. And Mirage, of course, can help you in surviving and stacking up, reducing that damage. Sacred Guardian can also make a huge difference. So what you're gonna be doing, if you actually want some pinpointed focused advice, you're gonna be looking at in what round do you want to actually change your heroes and give them a different type of Sigil, and also understand what type of Sigil can you give them. For instance, we can give our lovely boy here maybe Inflame, preferably Berserk. We can give him Berserk, and it just will carry on in that direction. And when it comes to Anna, you should give her the Succubus, pretty much 100%, which will allow her to cause more damage, and the more you upgrade her exclusive, the more damage she can cause. And you're gonna be doing that insanity of playing around when it comes to the Sigil, upgrading the exclusive, giving the relics, and upgrading the relics non-stop for the sake purpose of increasing the damage you can do in rounds. One thing you might focus on, also giving Vital or Striker, and that in its whole concept of how you're gonna do it is how you will actually be able to increase the damage round by round. And hopefully if you actually do all of this, you'll actually see a massive difference in the damage output that you'll be doing round by round. Let's see how much damage he was able to cause this time. 1339. Okay, let's try again. It would be extremely difficult to do it hero by hero, to actually remove all their Sigil, but it's kind of the direction if you really want to start working on increasing your damage output. As you can see, we've been successful in increasing the damage at least, and it keeps on increasing the more we actually put into it. See that 3 billion. Now you do the same for the rest of your heroes. You select the right Sigil or Stigmata, you upgrade your hero, specifically Indira and specifically Julia, and I think you will pretty much see that there is a difference, and you can actually rank up much easier, and the game becomes easier for you. The last thing that will remain for you is actually gaining the Hunter Scythe, which will maximize the damage that you're doing, and then you'll be a happy boy when it comes to the reincarnation. Oh, now that's actually what we're looking for. The damage output in round number 3 and round number 6 really made a difference this time. Let's actually play the video and watch how our heroes participated in this specific fight. %, perfect for you to gain high damage and ranking. Alright, we're coming up on the round that has Toku. We're watching it as it unfolds, and we're relying pretty much on a number of heroes that have a chance percentage of landing their CC crowd control effect, like Lady Ivy, Toku with her pursuit and follow-up pursuit, and we can see here why that lovely red meteor gem actually makes a difference in increasing her damage. See the damage she's done? 2289. All that happened because Lady Ivy twined the three heroes in number 1, which gave us a possibility of landing that damage. Now, next round, we're looking at the Storm Falcon and Rockefeller in surviving. Okay, and the final round we're actually waiting for to watch, which involves the Godslayer using Eden Space. And if you give the Godslayer something better than Eden Space, Hunter Scythe for instance, or the Tyrant's Hammer, he'll be actually able to do much more damage in this specific round, winning you a 100% increase. Alright, the round is almost gonna be over soon after he causes that high burst of damage that we're seeing, and all of that is coming from Eden Space, by the way. Eden Space, the addition of Sage to Lucas, the spaceship selection, better selection, and this isn't upgraded, by the way, this spaceship, and time, of course, in actually boosting the Godslayer in attack. Okay, let's watch and then move on to the spaceships. Alright, and that would be the accumulation of 7676, magical number. 33 million, 430 million, 2521 million, 432, 120, and then the last round, 3238 in damage. And that is kinda a big portion of how you do it, and we've maxed out what we can do for this one, and that takes us to the ranking of 66. Happy we are actually. To the next point, that is actually the last point we're going to be talking about, the spaceship selection. When the top players are selecting the spaceship selection, simplify it. Look at it from this perspective. The Dimensional Hunter, the group attack ship, attacks all 6 heroes. The group attack ship is the fastest in attacking, and it causes burning damage and increases the critical and the rest of the attributes you see at the bottom. For the best damage improvement, you need to max out your spaceship. Ship of Theosos is on increasing of the armor and actually increasing the HP, recovery of the HP. So you have one as the fastest in attack and doing a burning effect. You have another that's for recovery of HP and increase in armor. You have a third one, okay, increase in armor, dealing a percentage of damage, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what it can do. Ship of Theosos, Dark Samurai are slow. Thunder is a little bit less slower than both. Dimensional Hunter is the fastest spaceship in the entire game. Thunder, on the other hand, creates invulnerability and increases armor penetration, which causes more damage when your heroes attack, and it can actually help you in recovering some HP once you've upgraded it to the maximum, and it can really make a difference having all your spaceships upgraded. The Temporal, or the Assassin spaceship, it increases the attack and it increases the damage that the enemy will take. So aside from it helps in increasing your damage, increasing the attack, giving you shields, it also reduces the damage or the attack you gain, which will help you surviving longer in battle. The increase of attack comes from the attribute itself of increasing the level. It doesn't come from what it does at level 60 and level 90 and level 120 and level 150. The main point is it will reduce the damage you take, it will reduce the attack of the damage 2 in 1, and it will help you to survive longer in battle by doing that. Some healing, some damage reduction. The last one is the Mechanical Queen. The Mechanical Queen is purely on the crowd control effect. So whenever you have a crowd control hero in battle, in one round, using it can actually benefit that hero to achieve that crowd control, like that whining has a better percentage of it actually being done on your enemy, or the stunning has a better effect of being done on multiple enemies in the round. Pretty much that's the main purpose of what it does, and it can actually cause a control invulnerability where you can gain more heroes twined or stunned. That's the overall of what it does anyway. So all the spaceships you will need to upgrade, and also they add to your attack and HP in general in battle the more they're upgraded. Technically, without at least the group and then the ship of Theosus, the Dark Samurai, upgraded to the max, you stand 0% chance at causing high damage in the reincarnation space unless you're going to be using dark artifacts maxed out. So this one you still have to keep upgrading. You need to be patient. It's very, very expensive, more than the Dark Samurai. Temporal Blade, a little bit acceptable, but then becomes really expensive. And in the end, if you keep building your spaceships and maxing them one by one out, it will benefit you in the end, even if it's just 10 levels increase when it comes to actually ranking up by having more damage. Overall, the reincarnation space is a difficult mode in the game. It requires much more than anything you can imagine in the entire game. We're not going to be entering into the ranking until the settling happens, which is at the end. I think just entering here into being from the top 100 and then entering into 66 from the top 75 pretty much is sufficient for what we want to show and actually focus on for this video. All in all, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, issues in the reincarnation space, we're open now for helping about it. And never give up. As you can see, after all these attempts, it should motivate you of the lowest damage 2863, and then by fixing and making a couple of changes, we've reached 7676. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely try to watch this video, maybe come back to it a couple of times, look at the timestamps added in the description. They will help you just to go to the section you want to see, and you can find many information that can be beneficial for you in this video of how to steal lineups, how to fix the artifacts, replace the artifact pretty much, the selection of artifacts that can match the heroes. You can just copy what the players in the leadership board have done if you think it's actually correct and helps you in the battle. If not, you'll have to change it by hand and keep on trying. You will eventually get there. Alright guys, thanks so much for tuning in and have a great day ahead.